Hi everyone, my name is Kathleen and I'm the Outreach Manager at Charleston County Public Library. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a fun toy for your dog using just 2 t-shirts. This is a really easy craft, and if you're anything like me, you've got a ton of t-shirts lying around that you won't mind getting rid of to make something new. So this is what we're going to end up with. It's a dog toy that's braided, made out of 2 t-shirts, and I'm going to show you how to do it. The only thing you need are 2 t-shirts, or maybe more if you have more, and a pair of scissors. So I've got one t-shirt here that I've started cutting, and another t-shirt here that I'm going to show you how to cut. And here we go. The first thing you want to do is lay out your t-shirt. I'm going to take my scissors and cut up the sides of the t-shirt. So you're going to cut between the front and the back, just up the side seams. And basically what we're going to be doing is cutting our t-shirt into strips and then braiding the strips and tying off the ends to make a chew toy for your dog. So I'm cutting up the right side, and now I'm going to cut up the left side. And none of this has to be perfect, so you don't have to worry about it very much. So now I've cut my my first t-shirt kind of in half there. I'm going to lay it out flat again, and just on the front half, you can use whichever half you want to use. I'm going to cut strips along the hem there, on the bottom hem, that are 2 to 3 inches apart. I'm just going to cut a little slit 2 to 3 inches apart all along the bottom. So it kind of makes a fringe, and you're just starting the cuts with your scissors. And it doesn't really matter how many you do. You're just going to keep going till you get to the end. So if you see, I've kind of got these little fringy strips. And now since you started the cut with your scissors, they're really easy, especially if you've got an old t-shirt like me. You can just rip all the way up. And I'm kind of just going to rip till I get to the top of the shirt. Alright, so now you can see I've got all these strips here. I'm going to take my other half of my t-shirt, my red t-shirt, which I started, and rip that as well. So depending on what size t-shirt you're working with, you'll have different lengths of strips, but it doesn't really matter. However long you feel is good, or however long you want your dog toy to be. I just kind of did it up to the edge of my t-shirt, so I took it from the bottom and went all the way up the top. You do want to try and make sure that your strips from the 2 t-shirts are about the same length. So my gray strips and my red strips are about the same length, and I'm going to just cut them off from the t-shirt. Right now they're still connected at the top, and I'm going to cut them off. Rip a little bit extra. So I've got my red strips here. And I'm going to cut off my gray strips as well. And depending on how many strips you want to make, you could even use the front and the back of your shirt to make 2 different toys. Or you could make strips from the front and the back and just make one really big braided toy. It's up to you. I'm just using the front of each shirt to make one toy. So now I've got all of these gray strips and all of these red strips, and I'm going to line them up kind of so that they're all equal length so that they're all in line. And the strips the fabric kind of folds in on itself. And there are a lot of crafts that you can do just by cutting up a t-shirt like this and making strips of fabric, kind of like yarn or anything like that. But now I've got them all lined up. I'm going to take one of my pieces, I'm going to take this gray one and just tie it around all the others on one end to secure all the pieces. And I'm going to tie it pretty tight and wrap it again, so I've got a double knot. You could also take a loose strip of fabric, a different strip from your t-shirt. If you had some extra, like from the sleeves or something like that, you could use that to tie your knots. So now it's tied at one end. You can see the knot there. And I've got all of these strips like this. The next thing I'm going to do is to divide it into thirds. You can arrange your colors however you like. I'm just going to kind of mix them up, but make sure that I have generally the same amount in each section. And then you're going to braid. So I'll show you first here and then I'm going to lay it down and do it. But for braiding, you're going to take the outer pieces and cross over the middle piece. So I'm going to take this outer piece and cross over that middle one, like that. And I'm going to lay it down so I can hold it tight and do it. So just like you would braid hair or anything else, you take your outer pieces and cross, and you try and keep it tight so that it holds its shape until you get to the end of your fabric. So I've got a braid and then my end, and I'm going to take one of my pieces and wrap it around and tie a knot. And one of my pieces was a little bit longer than the other ones, so that works out for me. And so I'm tying in a knot like that. And now I've got a dog chew toy, and it was that easy. So I've got this one that I made earlier and this one, and you can test them out and see if your dogs like them. If you use a t-shirt that's one of your old t-shirts, your dogs will probably like that it smells like you, but you made something new out of something that you maybe weren't wearing. So we'll have to see if our dogs like them. Thanks for watching.